I'm Sam.
I'm Sasha.
I'm Taylor.
I'm Daniela.
And I'm Hannah.
And our topic is contraceptives. So we wanted to kind of look at this mostly because we learned in this class that STI rates are an all-time high in the United States, and the United States is one of the highest with industrialized countries. So we also wanted to look at not only just contraceptive use, but what type they're using and how frequently they're using it. And since there's so many different kinds on the market, we really kind of focused in on ones that we thought would be most common, which is the IUD, the NuvaRing, the birth control pill, the birth control shot, and condoms.
At the start of this project, we looked into previous researches that talked about contraceptive use. One of the researches that we looked into was a study published by Bryant, and where she basically questioned 120 undergraduate females and asked them about their attitudes toward contraceptive use. Most of the undergraduate females stated that they had a positive attitude toward contraceptives, meaning that they think that they're really important into everyday lifestyle. Out of those participants, the highest scores directed or claimed that they would use contraceptives consistently and continuously. In another study by Haisler and Van Aren, the study was conducted at the University of New Hampshire, in where most women didn't use birth control pills, and which led to unwanted pregnancies and transmissions of STIs. Also, a lot of these factors that played on was the inability to obtain contraceptives, the cost, and the socioeconomic status. And another thing that they found out in this study was that they discontinued the use of contraceptives because it didn't suit them, which this is really alarming to know, because there is a lot of different types of contraceptive uses, and which means that there wasn't enough help for them even at a university level. And these two researchers studies, they differentiated between the results. So we tried asking a lot of our A&M students to see where A&M stands in this aspect.
The questions that we decided to focus on were: what is your biological sex? Are you sexually active? Do you use contraceptives, whether that be hormonal birth control, condoms, or any other option? The next 4 questions focus more on open-ended options, which allow the participants to give a more detailed answer of their thoughts. So those include: why did you choose to use contraceptives when engaging in sexual activity? Do you think that contraceptive use is important? Why or why not? What were you taught about contraceptives? And lastly, who taught you about them? So we first found that out of our 48 participants, from them 7 were male, which equated to about 15%, and 41 were female, which was about 85%. The next question was, are you sexually active? And of the participants, it was about 2/3 participants were sexually active, with the last third being not. And of those participants, 86 were male and 63 of the females were sexually active. And the next question was, do you use contraceptives? And out of the 48 responses, 71% of the participants stated that they did use a form of contraceptive. And out of the participants who were sexually active, 100% of them stated that they did.
So next, when looking at the open-ended questions, so the first open-ended one was, when asked when or why do you choose to use contraceptives when engaging in sexual activity, we found that 94% claim to use contraceptives to avoid pregnancy and STIs. The next question, when asked, do you think contraceptive use is important or not, all responses stated that it is important for a healthy lifestyle. Next, we asked where did they learn about the contraceptives. So 36% said they learned it in a school setting, various types of school settings, and also all at different ages. Another 21% said that they learned from their parents. 18% said they learned from their friends, 16% said they got the information from the internet, and then 4% said they learned from their doctors, and then another 4% said they couldn't remember where they actually got the information from. The next question was, when asked what they learned about contraceptives, when we asked them what did they learn, we got many different responses. So 49% were taught that they are good for preventing pregnancies and STIs. 16% learned about the pros and cons of using contraceptives. 12% were taught to use contraceptives but without knowing why they were important. 9% said they learned how and when to use them. And then the last 7% were taught not to use contraceptives because of their religion.
Okay, so our group learned that most of the students that took our survey were sexually active, and we did have a few that were not sexually active. And the ones that were sexually active said that birth control was a priority and that they did use it consistently. The non-sexually active students that took our survey also equally thought that birth control was important and thought that it should be used consistently. And then after the class, we learned that birth control helps to prevent pregnancies and also STI transmission. And there's different types besides just the pill in the mail condom, like Depo-Provera, the sponge, and many others.
So to conclude and put it all together, after looking at all of our research, we can find that mostly all of our students who participated said that when they are engaging in sexual activity, they're all using contraceptives, which we thought was an awesome thing to hear and realize that Texas A&M students are using contraceptives and being safe about it. When concluding about the main reason why students are wanting to use contraceptives, most students said that they are wanting to prevent unwanted pregnancies. Other students stated that their main reason was to protect them against STIs, but when looking at everything, unwanted pregnancy was the main reason. When looking at if students believe if contraceptive use is important or not, the majority said yes, and that was because they want to live a healthy lifestyle and obviously to protect against all the pregnancies and STIs and everything. So looking at it, the majority did say yes. However, though, we did have a few people say that it isn't important in certain situations. So once you're involved in a relationship or because of certain religious beliefs, that contraceptive use isn't as important.
And just to kind of like reiterate once again, we went in this with different expectations than what came out. We didn't think that condom use was going to be as high as it was or as frequent as it was, but one thing we did kind of expect was the religious aspect to come in, as well as when people get in a relationship, how they tend to kind of not use contraceptives as much. So we learned a lot, and then we also had things that we expected. And on the screen right now is just all of our references for everything, and that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.